Imagine a world where we produce fewer greenhouse gas emissions and we all have access to reliable, cleaner energy. With natural disasters raging on more frequently and devastatingly than ever, this dream seems far out of reach. But is it really? One solution is nuclear power, or the implementation of small modular reactors, SMRs. These SMRs are especially promising in remote and northern areas in Canada that rely on diesel and are off the main power grid. SMRs provide reliable, cleaner energy alternatives. The unique thing about SMRs is that they can be pre-manufactured off-site and delivered to the location they're needed, minimizing the extensive need for on-site construction. But this raises many questions. What about the environment? And what about the communities that will host these reactors? These are the areas that I focus on as a radiation biologist, particularly interested in how ionizing radiation affects living organisms and the ecosystems that they depend on. In fact, radiation is part of our everyday world. It's naturally present in our environment, but also from human-made sources like X-rays or nuclear power, which currently provides about 60% of Ontario's energy. So it's not that I'm concerned about these SMRs giving some massive environmental exposure. What I am concerned about is ensuring that we are monitoring and protecting the ecosystems around them, and that we develop a benchmark for how they function, especially under the influence of ionizing radiation. It's all about keeping our beautiful ecosystems healthy for generations to come. So what am I doing to protect the environment while these SMRs are happening in the background? Well, I'm screening environmental risk assessments and impact assessments for various nuclear power sites. This includes Bruce Power, Chalk River, and Ontario Power Generation's Darlington site. On a more local note, as McMaster looks into the option of hosting our own SMR on campus, I've shifted my focus to looking at vulnerable communities near our university, namely Cootes Paradise. In my research, I'm looking specifically at factors like biodiversity, meaning what species are actually found in these areas, species at risk, understanding how developments might impact these vulnerable species, and non-radiological risks, things like water contamination during construction, dust pollution causing impacts to air and water quality, and things like the unique challenge of transporting uranium fuel to very remote locations. When I'm reviewing these documents from a radiobiological perspective, one thing is very prevalent. Non-radiobiological risk is just as significant. But it's not all about the environment, it's also about the community. One of the main reasons for deploying SMRs in Canada is to shift diesel reliance in northern and remote communities, many of which are Indigenous communities. Ensuring that we engage and critically work with these communities is critical to the work. Currently, I'm working on developing international workshops with researchers to understand best practices for integrating these SMRs into local communities. Part of this is also making sure that we are meaningfully engaging with these Indigenous groups. We're currently working to interview Indigenous elders, Indigenous community members, and leaders to better understand perspectives on land use, as well as integrating Indigenous knowledge with Western science. In summary, SMRs provide a very exciting option for Canada, but it is clear that there are many challenges. Going forward, it's really important that we make sure we considered environmental risk with that community engagement piece to carefully plan and to create thoughtful discussions. But if done right, SMRs give us the potential to meet our energy needs while considering the environment and the communities that will host them. Thank you.